You ever feel like you're stuck in a place between who you were and who you're supposed to become? Like you're in motion, but not moving fast enough. You're building, but nothing looks finished. You've been faithful, consistent, even when no one noticed. And now you're wondering, when will it finally break through? When will someone recognize what I carry? If that's where you are, I want to tell you something that could change everything. You're not being delayed. You're being built. There's a difference between being stalled and being shaped. When God wants to build something that won't collapse under pressure, He takes His time. You are not being held back. You're being rooted. Because what's being formed in you is too important to be rushed. God isn't just interested in giving you a moment of impact. He wants to build a life that can handle consistent movement, long-term purpose, and sustained clarity. And that means He will often raise you slowly, not because you're unqualified, but because you're too valuable to be fragile. And here's the thing, we often try to build from the wrong places. We build from insecurity. We strive to be seen, to be praised, to be validated by someone else's approval. But Jesus taught us a better way. He never needed applause to know who He was. He didn't perform for validation. He moved from identity, not anxiety. He acted from rest, not pressure. That's the way of truth. That's how you're called to live. God doesn't want you building your future on the shaky foundation of insecurity. That's why He's taking His time to restore your true identity. Because He wants you grounded in truth, not tossed around by opinion. So maybe you're not late. Maybe you're exactly where you need to be, learning how to move from a place of peace instead of panic. Now, let's talk about this season you're in. You feel the change. It's not loud, but it's real. Something in you has shifted. You're not the same person you were last year. You don't carry the same fears. You're not chasing attention like before. And people around you? They can feel the difference, even if they can't explain it. You've stopped shrinking to fit in. You're not waiting for the room to approve you. You're walking into the room knowing heaven already has. And that confidence? That quiet strength? That's what authenticity looks like. It's what Jesus modeled again and again, being fully present, fully obedient, without bending to the crowd. Some of you have been waiting for confirmation. One more sign, one more yes, one more person to see your worth. But let me say this clearly. You are the confirmation. Your life is evidence that God chooses the unexpected, that He raises up those who don't bend for applause, that He blesses the ones who were faithful in secret. You're not here by accident. You've been carried, formed, and positioned for a moment like this. And you don't need permission to rise. You just need to believe that the God who formed you already said yes. But here's where many get stuck. They awaken to their identity. They feel the shift, but they don't know how to sustain it. They touch clarity for a moment, then life gets noisy again. So let's talk about how to protect what's been planted. Because this next season of your life doesn't just need fire. It needs structure. Not legalistic discipline, but spiritual rhythm. Jesus lived with rhythm, rising early to pray, withdrawing to quiet, moving when it was time, speaking when it was needed. He didn't burn out even under pressure, because His connection to the Father was daily and intentional. And that's where it starts for you too. Daily grounding in prayer. Not just reciting a list of wants, not repeating words you don't feel, but actual connection, real conversation. Starting your day by turning inward and upward before the world gets loud. A simple moment, just 10 minutes where you say, God, I'm here again. I don't have all the answers, but I want to hear from you. That kind of prayer doesn't require a perfect room or a perfect mood. It just requires a present heart. When you begin your day in His presence, everything changes. Not because the world gets easier, but because your posture gets stronger. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop striving and start aligning. Your clarity doesn't come from noise anymore. It comes from within. That's what Jesus modeled. He walked through storms, through betrayal, through crowds and criticism, without losing Himself, because He was always anchored first. And here's the best part. God doesn't want your attention for 10 minutes, just so you can check a box. He wants to be with you all day. He wants to walk with you, not visit you. Whisper to Him in the middle of your chaos. Pause when confusion hits and ask, "What do you see here, God?" Don't react out of habit. Respond from presence. That's what walking by the Spirit means. That's how you stay strong even when life doesn't slow down. I know this might feel overwhelming, like maybe you haven't done this perfectly before. Maybe you've tried and drifted. That's okay. What matters is what you choose now. Don't wait for the right conditions. Start with a willing heart. That's all God needs. A heart that says, "Lead me today. I want to see like you see. I want to walk with you in every step." That's where the fire comes from. That's how purpose gets sustained. Let me tell you something you may not hear often enough. God is not afraid of your emotions. Your anger, your doubt, your sadness, your frustration, they don't intimidate him. He's not standing at a distance waiting for you to calm down and get spiritual before he draws near. He's the God who meets you in the storm, in the middle of the tears, in the heart of the confusion, and still stays. And that changes everything. Some of us grew up thinking that faith meant pretending to be okay, that being strong meant hiding our wounds. But Jesus showed us a better way. He wept when his friend died. He expressed deep sorrow in the garden. He didn't hide his heart. He laid it bare before the Father. And that's exactly what God wants from you. Not a filtered version of your soul, but the raw, honest, unedited truth. So stop thinking you have to clean yourself up emotionally before you go to him. Go to him while it's messy. Tell him what you're feeling. Say it out loud. Cry if you have to. Yell if you need to. Your honesty won't push him away. It'll draw him closer. Because real relationship is built on truth, not performance. And the safest place to be undone is in the presence of the one who can rebuild you from the inside out. Here's the hard part. Surrender often means letting go of your own timing. And that can be painful. We all want things to happen now. We think we're ready. We see others rising, and we wonder why we're still in the shadows. But timing in God's kingdom is never rushed. It's always perfect. If he hasn't opened the door yet, it's not rejection. It's preparation. You may feel ready for what's next, but God sees deeper. He knows the weight that comes with the platform, the character required for the calling, the strength you'll need for the battles ahead. So sometimes he holds back not to punish you, but to preserve you. He's not just preparing the opportunity. He's preparing you to carry it well. This is where trust gets real. Can you walk in obedience even when the timeline doesn't match your expectation? Can you keep showing up in the quiet, in the hidden places, when nothing seems to be moving? That's where faith is forged. Not in the spotlight, but in the stillness. Not when the doors open, but when they stay closed and you choose to believe anyway. And that's what Jesus modeled. He waited. He walked. He moved when the Father said move and stood still when the time wasn't right. He didn't push his way into places. He allowed himself to be sent. And in that posture, he changed the world. That's the kind of rhythm God wants for you too. Not forced, not frantic, but filled with quiet power and divine timing. Now here's the part that will free you. You don't have to strive for what's already yours. You don't have to chase every opportunity, manipulate every outcome, or hustle to prove your worth. When your heart is aligned with God and your pace is led by him, what is meant for you cannot miss you. What he has authored for your life will find you in the exact moment it's supposed to. Rest in that truth. But as you wait, don't wait passively. Wait faithfully. Keep serving. Keep sowing. Keep showing up with a heart that says, even if nothing changes today, I'll still give you my yes. That kind of heart moves heaven. That kind of heart attracts miracles. Because it's not about the result. It's about the posture. You're not earning favor. You're walking in it. You're not begging for direction. You're already being led. So breathe. Slow down. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not overlooked. You are on a divine timeline. And in the waiting, you're being refined. In the surrender, you're becoming whole. In the honesty, you're finding freedom. And in the presence, you're discovering who you really are. So today, let go of the pressure to perform. Let go of the fear of being too late. Let go of the weight of trying to do it all on your own. Open your heart to the God who knows you fully, loves you completely, and leads you perfectly. Surrender your timeline. Speak your truth. Walk by grace. And trust that the one who started the work in you is faithful to complete it, in His way, in His time, for His glory.